When I began thinking about writing fiction seriously, I was 55. And I was at Channel 7, sitting at my desk, deleting spam from my email. And it was back in the day when spam filters weren't as good as they are now. So you remember this, you'd get a lot of spam. And one of the first things you'd have to do in the morning, or I did at least, was go through and just delete all the spam so I didn't have to deal with it along the way. And I opened one by mistake. I opened a spam by mistake. And the subject had said, a new refinancing deal for you. But the body of the email was what looked like lines from a Shakespearean play. I majored in Shakespeare in college, and I knew it wasn't a Shakespearean play, but it was the same era, same kind of dialogue. And I thought, why would somebody put lines from a Shakespearean play in a spam email with the subject line, a new refinancing deal for you? Why would someone do that? It's spam. Millions of people are going to delete that. Anyone could see it. No one is going to read it unless they really make a mistake. Why would you do that? And my brain, I don't know how to describe this to you in any other way. My brain said, maybe it's a secret message. And I thought, secret messages in computer spam. Are you kidding me? That is a great story. That's a great idea. Who could you do that? And who would do that? And why would they do that? And what would be the point of it? And who would discover it? And who would get killed? Because I would write mysteries. And who would be the, all those things, just the questions just started bursting out of my head. And I came home that night and I said to my husband, sweetheart, I have a great idea for a mystery. I'm going to write a mystery. I have a great idea. I'm going to write a book. And Jonathan says, that's great, honey. He says, do you know how to write a book? And he was so supportive, but he said, do you know how to write a book? And I remember this moment so purely. I said, how hard can it be? I've read a million of these. And this is the point. This is the point, is that I was not confident. I was absolutely naive. I was absolutely clueless. I knew so little about how hard it would be to write a book that had I known, I might not have done it. I might not have done it. But I thought, I've been writing for television for 30 years. I know how to tell a story. This is a great idea. Having a great idea is the essence of being able to do anything. And I knew that I could just bring this to fruition. It was so silly. It was so silly to do it. But I mean, from that moment, I was obsessed. I was compelled. I worked on nights and weekends. I worked through my vacations. No one ever saw me. I was sitting here at this desk writing my first book, and I loved it. It was called Prime Time. And when the first draft came out, I went to, when the first draft of this book came out, it was so long ago that I had it on a floppy disk. And I took it to Kinko's because we wouldn't have thought of having a printer at home. You just wouldn't do that. So I take this floppy disk to Kinko's and I say, can you print this for me? And the Kinko's guy says, sure. And I said, it's my novel. And he says, oh, okay. And so a couple hours later, I came back and I said, I'm here with the printing. And the guy says, oh, you're the one with the novel. And I thought, yeah, he read it. Now he respects me. Now he knows it's a good book. He shouldn't have made fun of me. So he reaches down under the table at the counter and pulls up a ream box of paper, a box of 500 sheets of paper, ream box of paper, hands it to me and says, here you are. And I said, okay, great, thanks. And he says, no, wait. And he goes down under the counter again and picks up another ream box of paper. And so it turns out my novel was 723 pages long. 723 pages long. I had no idea. I hadn't even numbered the pages. And I had to cut 400 pages from my book. I had to cut 400 pages from my book before it even saw the light of day. That was one of the most instructional, educational, revealing things that I have ever done. I highly recommend cutting 400 out of 723 pages because I learned what the book was that I meant to write. That is what emerged, the book that I meant to write. And fast forwarding, that became Prime Time, which won the Agatha for Best First Mystery. And that's my first novel. There's not one under the bed or in a trunk somewhere. That was it. won the Agatha, Primetime won the Agatha for Best First Mystery, and that was the beginning of my career as a fiction writer.